Hey, what's up, dudes? It's been a long time. No, I'm not dead, as some people said in comments on my old videos. I'm not dead. I'm alive. Very much alive. Doing very well. Been hitting the gym, actually, 3 days a week with a trainer and stuff. It's been going awesome, so I feel great. Just haven't been doing content creation. Kinda lost a bit of my motivation for it. A lot of frustrations in Path of Exile, too, with getting one shot and stuff like that. And so, I did play it a lot still, though. I didn't put the game down or anything. I actually played it a lot. Just wasn't really feeling like making a bunch of reactionary content. Didn't want to throw my voice out there and start making suggestions without really experiencing a lot of it. I made a bunch of builds, okay? 7 builds, actually. 7 characters, and leveled them all to 90, except 2 are in the 80s, all right? Now, this one, the reason I made it is because of some of those frustrations. I wanted a tanky build that would stop getting freaking one shot, and I didn't want to have to switch characters to like fight bosses, and you know, like I did make a character that could one shot every boss, but for this character I just wanted something that was like more realistic, that's probably more in line with the vision for Path of Exile 2. And this one is a tanky build that uses melee damage, so Ice Strike, and it's a monk basically with the Infernalist ascendancy. There's a few things that in the next patch are probably not going to work out so great though, but I think it could still work. Now, right off the bat, I want to show you that I'm not using Hand of Wisdom in action. So it's right here, I have it. It does boost my damage by quite a bit, but I'm not using it for the showcase. I'm also not using Grim Feast because that is gone from the game the next patch. So instead, I did just put on Ghost Dance, which is not even very good, all right? Not very good at all. So anyway, I got rid of that, and I can still show you this build. So here's the gear really quick, and then I'll show you a map, level 15 map with some ritual or something, so you can so I can show you how tanky my character actually is. And here's a weapon I made. I did play it in the trade league, so I could use the currency exchange, but everything is solo self-found outside of that. I did trade divine orbs for a bunch of exalted orbs so that I could just slam my own gear, and that I liked that better than trading. So anyway, I got this thing here with good rolls on the physical damage as well as the flat physical. It's got cold damage and attack speed and mana per kill, all desirable. I put in soul cores for damage for lightning, or put in soul cores for elemental penetration. We've got a good helmet with 412 energy shield. Soul core is 5 all res. The other mods aren't even that great. Same with this one here. High energy shield 733. It's got some lightning res 31. Stun threshold is 283, which is actually useful on this build, by the way. And then the faster start of energy shield is useful too, because I'm not using this node, the Eternal Youth. You know, I'm just relying on the recharge. So then. More stun threshold on these boots, which are also energy shield and movement speed, intelligence, fire res, energy shield, gloves, attack speed, cold damage. Belt is tri res. The corruption is at fire res, so we get all those. We get some mana, some armor, and then the ring here is cold damage, all res, strength. There's chaos resistance, but we have chaos inoculation. There is rarity on it as well, and then we have the Keln ring for the shatter res frozen, so that our ice strike and Shattering Palm and Herald of Ice can be empowered. I allocated In Your Face for 40% increased melee damage at close range, and then this amulet has evasion rating. It's got flat energy shield, life, dexterity, fire, and lightning intelligence, and that's all the gear there. We are using the freezing charm. Anyway, the idea is Shattering Palm, Ice Strike. We have Gathering Storm, Infernal Cry to empower our Tempest Bell, and then we have a bunch of damage mitigation. That was the idea here. So 20% of damage taken from hits from your Hellhound's life before you, they remove that. I'm hoping the next patch has a support gem that does the same thing, so that you could just use any minion to reduce damage. If not, they should really put it back in. I think that is kind of one of the main things that makes this Hellhound worth anything. I gave him Wildfire because he automatically ignites, so this will spread the ignite, and then my Ice Strike can gain 30% of damage as extra fire. So that's kind of cool. I thought that was a nice interaction. We get damage reduction from him as well as some fire. The other thing that's giving us some damage reduction is this node, Altered Flesh. You can see it kind of cross-contaminates resistances. So cold taking as fire, lightning taking as fire, physical taking as chaos. With chaos inoculation, that's just a 20% damage reduction for physical, which is kind of cool. But, and then the lightning here, I get a little bit less fire because I have 77% lightning resistance, 76 fire, 76 cold. So the fire and lightning are both getting a little bit even more mitigation, which is kind of nice. And then we have 10,000 base energy shield. Once again, no Grim Feast. We're not using it since that has been taken out of the game for the next patch, right? And no Hand of Wisdom in action because that is now half as good as what it was before. So I have gloves that have some cold damage and attack speed to kind of simulate that. All right. So anyway, in terms of mobility, we have a wand on swap like this. So what I do is I have set to a hotkey Chaos Bolt, like that, and then I have Blink, okay? So now, in quick action, if I just want to do that quickly, like this. See, because you can dash out of an animation, so you don't even have to cast the actual bolt, right? You can just hit it and then dash, which is cool. So that's just for a little bit better mobility. I like that. I think it makes the game feel a little better. And then, in terms of what we have going on here, like, I mean, I'm just taking anything for life or resistances for this guy just to make him tankier. We've got, I already mentioned the emulate support, concentrated effect, gain rage, more weapon elemental, and then more attack speed for Ice Strike, which is level 19 and has quality. Gathering Storm, I actually like this ability. I can get it pretty much every time. I increase magnitude of shocks, we get more damage for traveling, we get exposure for shocking, and then we get the perfect timing for more damage. It's actually quite strong. I actually like that move. I think it'll get a bit more use in the next patch, actually, since they nerfed Tempest Bell. For Tempest Bell, I am using Minion Pact, so that works really great with this guy. You take 40% of your... we get 40% more damage, and it takes life from the minion. We get Font of Rage, and that's because I consume 10 Rage when I cast Infernal Cry. So I can build up Rage, consume 10 Rage for 30% more damage, 15% more damage from Premeditation, 40% more damage with enemies that are on low life, and don't know if that really works or not to empower the next thing, or just works with this. No idea. Anyway, just threw it on there. And so we get the Rage back, and then we get more physical, max physical with Heft, and then we get more physical with Heavy Swing. And then Ghost Dance is in place of Grim Feast, because Grim Feast is gone in the next patch. Wind Dancer just has Maim, Blind, and it does have Cold Infusion, since we have the Keln Ring. And then Herald of Ice, you know, I know these are getting nerfed and everything, but I still think just having one Herald is still going to be kind of like... pretty decent in the game. I don't think it's going to be useless. I think everyone's still going to use them. And I didn't see any patch notes that nerfed the Keln Ring, you know? So, we'll see about that, right? Okay, so here's a map. Seepage. It's got more magic monsters, and then I have increased magic monsters on this. I'm not going to put any crazy mods on it. I just want to show off the build. I don't want to have, like, reduced elemental resistance and all that kind of stuff, you know? So I'll just show it. It is level... 15, tier 15, okay? And it does have a ritual here, and that's a good one to show off how tanky your build can be, because rituals, close quarters, tornadoes, all of the chaos damage, all the monsters spawning, and I think my build, I can prove that my build is tanky by showing off like a ritual. So here we go. Alright, and look, my Ice Strike, it only says I do about 30k damage on the DPS, but that's misleading, right? It's not taking into account some of the nodes that I have on the passive tree. It's not taking into account In Your Face that's on my amulet. Not taking into account the extra fire damage that we deal when our minion is alive and igniting things, you know? Which is another reason why I don't think they should nerf that ability that he has to reduce damage. He is dead half the time anyway, and so you don't always get it. Alright, here's the ritual. You can see I'm in the middle of it. We're not taking too much damage. And we completed it just fine. I lost about 2,000 energy shield there, already gained it back, and it was fine. That was with, I think, my minion dead too. So we would have probably taken almost no damage if we would have had that extra damage reduction. Let's check out the thing here. Yeah, we got barely anything. I'm glad Ritual is getting a boost in the next patch, because I have not been able to find anything. I played the game basically solo self-found, you know? I'm in the trade league, but I got I didn't trade for any gear. I just exalt slammed everything myself, you know, and I traded every single like currency item that was worth something and every single divine orb for exalted orbs. I never, and I just using the currency exchange. I really just wanted to keep using that. And I have a friend and a brother that we kind of would join games once in a while with each other. So that's why I played in the trade league, was to take advantage of that. Because it was impossible to play solo self-found like in any timely fashion. And plus, I made a bunch of builds, okay? All right, so here we go. Here's some rares and stuff. Here, let me use this. Shattering Palm. Here's the Infernal Cry with the Bell, you know. I know Bell's getting nerfed, but I think it'll still be, like, okay for dishing out a bit more damage, you know? So here it is again. I'll use it on this guy. Yeah, it's, like, super strong, I know. So this is without it. See, we still took that guy down, even without any, like, bell or anything. He wasn't shocked or anything either. But I like this style of play, like, of, like, dashing around, dropping in the shocked ground with Gathering Storm, and then, like, dashing to the next thing with Shattering Palm. I think that's all pretty sweet. I like that gameplay style, you know? And yeah, so I think with Expedition too, since we're going to be able to like recombinate gear, it'll be a lot easier to get pieces like this and this that have the mods you need, right? Like you need attack speed on both your quarterstaff and your gloves just so that you can like get anywhere with your attack speed. And you really probably need, you know, you're really going to need this too, like Falcon Technique probably still. I think they got nerfed a little bit, but something like that. Without those things, though, like, you just don't have enough attack speed to make your build feel that great in the end game. You just need them on both. And I kind of hope that there's, like, other ways to get attack speed. It would be nice if you could get attack speed on your belt as an enchant or something. I really hope that stuff like that is possible, because it just is so limiting otherwise, you know? I know there's some more supports coming, though, too, so that'll be helpful. And, like, look, as you can see, I'm just, like, nonchalantly chatting. I'm, like, going through. You can see my life is not really, or my energy shield is not really going down. Get on there. Here we go. And that's without Grim Feast. There's no Grim Feast on this build, okay? No Grim Feast. So this would be considered off-meta in a way, I would say, just because I'm not using the best gear, and it's an Infernalist being a monk, and I don't think I saw anyone use Infernalist with monk, you know? Here's another ritual. Oh, we're slowed. We're so slow. Okay, so we are getting beat up pretty bad, but it's all good. We're able to actually get out of the way and still defeat it. Look at that. So with Grim Feast, that would never happen. You don't even like lose your life ever. So, but yeah, do you see how I was able to just kind of like calmly like move away and then just get low on life? I had no way of actually replenishing my life there. I just had to wait and get out of the way and then attack again. So I think like this build is successful in that way, is that I can actually move. Now you could, or no, you know what they also removed? They also removed Shock Siphon from the game. So you cannot kill shocked enemies and get energy shield back either. So they really want you to try to utilize recharge in your tree and on your gear so that you can have to recharge it that way, I think. Nothing in here. Yeah, Ritual is so bad in this patch. It's ridiculous. Here, I'll take this, I guess. The other thing of note that will be getting changed is that you will no longer be able to reserve life after you've taken Chaos Inoculation. So this note where you get Energy Shield to reserve life, or this one to reserve Spirit, or this one to reserve mana, none of that will work with Chaos Inoculation. So if I had to reiterate on this type of build in the future, then I think I would probably ditch Chaos Inoculation and then try to get my chaos res to 75 with the right gear, you know, and see if I could do it that way. So that was a rare. We didn't even need our bell or anything on him. We'll use it on this one though. There we go. And look, he just died instantly. In terms of the passive tree, look, there's nothing crazy here. I have no special jewels or anything. I'm just using rare jewels on everything. So like this has some crit damage bonus. It has damage with hits, increased damage to rare and unique enemies on it too, which is kind of cool. This one just has some minion res, recover mana on kill, energy shield increase. This one's got cold damage, crit damage, magnitude of ailments. This one has herald skill damage, attack speed with quarterstaves, some accuracy, you know, what else? This has some damage penetration for cold. It's got energy charge recharge, energy shield recharge. It's got some crit damage bonus. And then that's like it. You know what I mean? I don't really have any crazy jewels or anything. And then the nodes I'm taking on here, everything is just like pretty basic monk stuff. It's like energy shield nodes, evasion nodes, some attack speed. You got some crit damage bonus and chance with some herald skill damage, and then some melee attack damage. That's it. I wanted to get this to gain 5% of damage as extra cold with the freeze buildup. I thought that would help. All these good energy shield nodes over here as well, right over by the witch starting point, you know. So I kind of went down here and went right into the monk stuff, all the way around here, and then got some of that, and then all the way up here to get more energy shield. And it seems like in the next patch, energy shield is still going to be king, despite Grim Feast getting nuked. And not even nuked, just eradicated. There's no longer Grim Feast in the game at all. We'll see. I'm hoping that with the overall balance changes, there's going to be some monster damage changes that they didn't mention or something, so that life and armor builds can actually do something. They're really bad. Like, I don't know. I know some people had some really tanky warriors in the end game, but you had no flexibility with those characters, though. You know, there was no flexible builds. No off-meta builds were running life and armor and things like that. None. Okay? So I just don't think it's quite right yet, you know? Here's another ritual. Let's see how this goes. Oh, we're stuck. There's another rare. Hit him with the bell. The one thing that sucks about the Gathering Storm is, like, if you have any slowing debuffs on you, it's really hard to time it because you're so used to having the timing, like what you're used to, you know? Like, you're getting kind of a rhythm of how to time it. So if anyone comes around with a bubble or a slowing debuff or anything, or chilled ground, it just, like, you can't, like, that's when you screw it up. It's really hard to get it right. Like, otherwise, I can pretty much get it, like, every time. And it's a pretty good move. It's pretty strong. Okay, yeah, so that's the character. Pretty fun. I like the assortment of skills. I like the interactions with the Hound and stuff that I came up with. Thought it was pretty fun. Some things are getting gutted. Some of the defensive capabilities getting gutted. it's we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping the overall balance is improved so that armor and life builds can be tanky and stuff. We'll see. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical that it's going to work out. But yeah, I have been playing a lot. I'm not dead, I'm alive. Some people said I was dead, I'm not. So in terms of builds, like I played the game quite a bit. I made a 94 Invoker, 94 Infernalist, 92 Gemling, 82 Warbringer, 88 Deadeye, 90 Chronomancer, 92 Titan. The Titan I experimented with several builds. I made one that used Wind Blast with a Quarterstaff, and then Bone Shatter with a mace, a really good roll, a really well-rolled one-handed mace and a shield. And that was really awesome at clear. I went all AoE nodes, and it was just like boom, 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 like heavy stunning, everything exploding. Problem was, it was just getting one shot. I mean, he had armor and evasion and 3,500 life or a little less than that, and he just kept dying, and I was just getting so frustrated with that. So I switched him to a minion build, the skeletal sniper build, just using hulking form to boost all the minion nodes, and that was just so OP. I had such good gear too. I had the trench, whatever it's called, this weapon here, 3 to minion skills it rolled. I had a scepter with 5 to minion. I had an amulet with 3 to minion, helmet with 2 to minion. You know, I found a level 20 gem, put it on the skeletal snipers. It just demolished everything. So that build was so obviously going to get nerfed. And then what I have him here now is something with Hex Blast and like using Hand of Chayula to apply 2 curses at once. And they nerfed Hex Blast for the next patch. So that this build that I was kind of trying to experiment with is pretty much a no-go. This build is going to get nerfed too, this Chronomancer build I have. You can see the boots here are Trample Toe, which give overkill damage. And you can basically cheese that with Frost Walls and Bone Cage and stuff and just cast on dodge. And just, you can, I mean, I was literally killing Arbiter of Ash, Zesht, any boss in the game in one shot, basically. Especially if it crit. So yeah, kind of a cool build. Was really fun for how unfair the end game felt in the first iteration of Path of Exile 2. This was the reason I actually decided to make this build, is because I was tired of losing so much progress and like sacrificing a map just because a boss would one-shot me once in a while, you know. So I was just sick of that. So I went with this, and so every time for a while when I was mapping, if there was a boss, I would just leave the map, load in with this character, boom, one-shot the boss, done. You know, that's obviously gone. It should be gone, but it was kind of a cool build. I did make a Deadeye. I kind of got bored with it. I tried a bunch of different interactions with Tornado Shot and Ice Shot and Rain of Arrows and all that. I used a crossbow on swap with the plasma thing to try to just see if that was any fun. The extra projectile with Scatter Shot with Plasma Shot actually does give you 4 shots, which is kind of cool. But it wasn't that good, really. And I went high evasion. I had like 95% or 93% evasion on that character. So kind of cool. But then if you got hit, you were dead because you only had 1,500 life. GGG, I really hope you're making life better in the game or reducing enemy damage. I don't know. The Warbringer, this one was another minion build I tried. For this guy, I did go with the totems that summon the ancestral spirits. Those are considered minions and scale with minion levels. So I did do those guys with some like, you know, some skeletal snipers and stuff just to experiment. It was okay. I get only level 82. This guy was a Gemling Legionnaire. He's using Hand of Wisdom in action. He's using the Pillar of the Cage God. He has Astramentus. I even did get the Regalia, whatever it's called, that body armor from, you know, the Arbiter. Got a couple of those, and one of them rolled mana. So I put a bunch of mana things in him, and so he had Mind Over Matter with some decent energy shield and evasion, you know, which was kind of fun. And I just would like leap, blink, used auto attack with Herald of Ash, and then I used Storm Wave for like massive clears, and then the Bell for like bosses, and it was like super strong, pretty tanky, looked kind of cool actually, and all of that is completely gutted now. So this entire build, and it makes sense why it's happening, but this entire build that I made with this guy is just gone now in the next patch. There's my Infernalist monk character that I showed you, and then my first character was my Invoker monk. I got him to 94. I did use the chaining, you know, Herald of Ice, Herald of Thunder combination with him. He was my best breach clearer by far. and he did use Pillar of the Cage God. I didn't use Hand of Wisdom in action on him, though. I used gloves that had lightning and cold damage on them to improve the chaining. And I did use lightning warp and ball lightning with him. Here, I guess I could just show you. And this interaction is getting nerfed a bit, actually. They don't want people doing this, I guess. So lightning warp leaves shocked ground like this. See? See, it does leave shocked ground, but they're removing the shocked ground if you use lightning warp on ball lightning. So that's no longer going to be used. Yeah. So this character, like, I also got 2 unset rings, which were really, really good. So I could have all the skills that I wanted to have all at once on this dude. And I went through many iterations of this character, like trying to make him work. This particular one doesn't use the bell, actually. He uses Falling Thunder instead. And Falling Thunder got a buff in the next patch, so Falling Thunder is going to be good. But yeah, Ice Strike with Charge Staff and Falling Thunder, Ball Lightning, and Lightning Warp so that you can have Shock Ground, and then Siphoning Strike to get all your charges whenever you want, basically. So that's what this character was. Had a really good chest piece, you know. Didn't even have max resistances on this guy, though. Like, they're close, but not max. And he was still, like, really strong. Now, there's also something that I was doing, which I didn't really see anybody else doing, and that was using this unique with a quiver with projectile speed so that you could actually have faster distance clear for ball lightning. I didn't really see anyone ever mention that, and that's kind of how I was getting around with this dude, is if the map has got a long distance to go, I would just use that interaction. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool, like, mobility technique. The other mobility technique was on my Gemling here. I don't know if it's getting gutted, but I would leap and then blink, and that was a really, really good way to get around as well. And basically what you want is you just want a one-handed mace that has attack speed, and then you can use this for cooldown or something else. It doesn't really matter, but the cooldown is nice. And then you just leap, and the wind-up for the leap is shorter when you have attack speed on the mace. And then you can use blink, and you can cover a lot of distance that way. And I thought that was really great. So my Gemling was just this dude. He used auto attack with Herald of Ash, and that was pretty fun. And I also did use Staggering Palm with this guy to get the you can get extra fizz damage added to your attack when you heavy stun something. So I was using that, and that was actually like crazy strong with all this interaction. Once again, though, it's all getting nerfed. Even my Regalia armor, mine rolled increased max mana per socketed rune or soul core, and they even removed that. Like, that is no longer in the game. Okay, so like, you can't get max mana anymore on that armor. I'm pretty sure. I think I saw that in the patch notes. They're just pretty much all ways to scale mana has been gone. Like, even the rolls for mana on items, they said are like being diminished. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, Pillar of the Cage God, I think I get why it was nerfed too. I found it so many times. I corrupted so many that I have all kinds of different corruptions on them too. Some of them have attack speed, some have like 50 lightning damage. This one rolled the 12% weapon damage as opposed to the 10, which is just crazy on a stat stacker, you know? So yeah, I get why they did it. But yeah, those were my mobility secrets there, was just like using that and then using the ball lightning, lightning warp combination with the unique that buffs the quivers for projectile speed. That's another one I'll be one of my go-tos. That interaction should still work in the next patch. So anyway, yeah, what do you guys think? I didn't show off like all my builds. I didn't make a bunch of videos. I didn't really care to. I just wanted to play the game. I didn't want to make reactionary videos because I actually thought that the game was quite frustrating for a little while. And I didn't like that the meta was so OP broken, you know? So, I just thought that, like, my role, or, like, my place in the content creator, like, space was just kind of, like, pushed out, you know, like, because I like to make, like, off-meta builds and stuff, and I just felt like it was very difficult for me to make anything worth looking at, you know? So anyway, patches tomorrow, though. Hopefully the balance changes are really good. I'm not dead, I'm alive, and I'll talk to you dudes later.